This is the Outback Recordings Podcast, Session 61.
Willkommen zum Outback Recordings Podcast, der Show für die Punkrock- und Hardcore-Community. Inspirierende Menschen, wertvolle Einblicke und spannende Stories präsentiert von eurem Host Benedikt.
Hello and welcome to the Outback Recordings Podcast. I am your host, Benedikt, and my guest today is a podcaster, radio host, musician, vinyl and merch collector, playlister, and just overall punk rock spreader. She's built an impressive following and fan base across multiple mediums and platforms because she helps people discover new punk bands or rediscover their love for the records and bands that they grew up with. She's also writing her own music. She creates amazing cover versions. Her energy, passion, and love for punk rock are just contagious. And it's no wonder that she's able to connect with her audience on such a personal level. Now let's get into it. Émilie Plamondon, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I hope I didn't completely butcher your name. Is it correct, Émilie Plamondon?
Yeah, Émilie Plamondon. It's great.
Okay, awesome.
You did an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this today. I'm really excited to have you on.
Thank you.
So my French is really, really bad. That's why I was worried about the name. I mean, it's not even bad. I can't speak a word, to be honest. And I had, today I was looking at, when I did some research on the show, some last minute stuff I wanted to look up. I, for the first time, saw heard how you pronounce the name of your cat. I got it completely wrong. Can you please tell our audience what your cat's name is?
Her name is Metallica. It's like a pun. But in English, you can translate it in English and say Metallicat. It's like a pun with Metallica. Yeah. And chat in French is cat. So, yeah, double pun.
Yeah, exactly. So
her name is Metallica.
Yeah, and I heard that today, and I had to laugh because it's much better than the English version. It just works so well, and I love puns. So I wanted
both works.
Yeah, true.
Both work, so it's fine.
True. So, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, what you currently do, just so I think a big part of our listeners already know you because you are actually one of the most requested guests on the show, which is pretty cool.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, but I can't believe this.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of my listeners follow you and they enjoy your rePUNKmendations and your everything you do. So, but for the ones who don't know who you are, maybe could you give us a quick recap, a quick overview of what you do currently?
Yeah. So my name is Émilie. I live in Quebec City, Canada. So I'm a French Canadian. I've been hosting a punk rock radio show here in Quebec City for 17 years. So I started in 2004, and then slowly but surely with social media, I just decided to spread punk rock even more. So I started this Instagram page with some vinyl reviews. And in last February, I started my English-speaking podcast called The Punk Roquette Show. It's a huge challenge. But mainly that's what I do. I also have a punk rock cover band, a duet acoustic called 50 Shades of Punk Rock. And I do multiple collaborations with other artists and other bands for either covers or original songs with other bands. So yeah, that's my life. It's a huge part of my life. And I still have my radio show and my podcast and my band. So yeah, my life is about punk rock.
Awesome. Yeah, you can tell. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm curious because you said it's a big challenge. Your English is perfectly fine. Is the English the challenge or is the doing a podcast the challenge?
Both, because hosting my radio show is easy because I take requests from the listener. I play music. It used to be live before COVID, but it's a total different game to build an episode because of the recording softwares, the guests. I interview people in English now, so yeah, my English is not so bad, but it's still not perfect enough for me because sometimes I think I lack some nuances, in my head in French. I have so many things I want to say, but then it comes out super like basic. So that's a challenge. But I decided that I don't care. I'm 37 years old. I'm just like, I want to live my life. I want to do fun things. So I stopped worrying about it, even if it's not perfect. But it's still a challenge because I need to be very well organized, to prepare, to research. It's a lot of time. I love this, but it's a lot of time, and I need to be super well organized. Sometimes it's a problem for me. So yeah, that's why I say it's a challenge.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can totally understand that. I do two
probably.
podcasts, and it's like, yeah, it's a hell of a lot of work. But I'm curious what people think about this podcast then, because we are now two people. None of us are like native English speakers.
Yeah.
And there's a German guy talking to a Canadian woman, like whose main language is French. So this is going to be interesting.
You know what? I used to take some German lessons when I was like 18 years old, like a long time ago. I don't remember a lot of things, but it was fun because I wanted to take Spanish classes, but it was full, so I took German. No, but I was happy to do it because my grandfather used to speak perfect German, and I wanted to speak with him just for fun. So yeah.
Do you remember anything from that?
Ich komme aus Quebec. Ich trinke Bier, but it's kombucha. It's kombucha, but cheers. Ich trinke Bier. Ich habe ein Cat.
That's much more than I could do in French. So, yep, cool.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, but I think it's just very impressive. All like considering all the things you do, and like it seems like you're constantly searching for these challenges. Almost like you're constantly trying to push yourself a little bit and try something new, because it takes courage to record yourself and publish it, and then do all the things you do in addition to that. Like you're active on Instagram, you do TikTok videos, you are definitely not afraid to just hit publish and like, just, you don't, as you say, you don't care what people say, I think. And that is really great. And I think that's what connects with your audience the most.
I care but the secret is to stay authentic. I know it's super cliche, but it's true. I just try to stay myself. I need also to take breaks. It seems like I post a lot, but I'm not like always on my phone that much. I have a day job. I have a family, so it's really important to me to take breaks. And yeah, but I do care because sometimes I receive like bad comments, and it makes me sad, but it doesn't happen often. I'm really lucky, like really, really lucky. I think I have the best crowd in the world.
Yeah.
But it's still, but like I said, I don't know. When I got like 35 years old, I was like, I should care less and do something fun. And if people don't like anything I do, they will just stop and I'll do other things. But so far, I think I have great feedback. So I'm just really happy to do that. And I'm not scared to look like, I don't know, not perfect, but yeah, it's just fun. And what I want is to spread the music. So if it requires me to do like selfies with vinyl and like a playlist and share some different kind of stuff, I'll just do it. Yeah,
totally. And that's the main thing I want to talk about today, because that is something really great. And I think a lot of people don't realize that when like people like you share a lot of stuff on the internet and like are very active there, it's actually helpful to a lot of people. It's not just that you do it for yourself. I mean, it's fun for you, but it's actually helping people, because I've seen, and you've shared some of these messages on Instagram. I've seen the messages of people who are like, I discovered this band through you. Thank you so much. I discovered there's this whole list of bands that I discovered through following your Instagram. And like, that is so amazing, because it means you are spreading the word about those bands, about punk rock, about things you love, and you're helping people discover this wonderful scene that we all love. And that is, I think, really remarkable and very, very cool to watch. And I think that is also why a lot of people listening to this show wanted to hear you on the show, because they've probably discovered a lot of their bands as well through you. Or like in my case, I've rediscovered a couple of things that
Oh,
I totally forgot about, records that I loved years ago. And then I saw a picture of you with that vinyl, and I'm like, I need to listen to that record again. And then it's like so awesome. So thank you for that.
oh, nothing makes me happier than that. When someone, because it's true, I receive a lot of messages like that. And because that's what I want. I want people to talk to me about music. Like, I don't want people to talk to me about, I don't know, myself. Like, I mean, it's fine, but when someone send me a message, like the Chaser album, that's the one I got the most feedback
Really?
about.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of people told me, but it happens with like smaller bands too. But Chaser was a good example of people saying, "Oh, I forgot about that band," and "Oh my god, I just discovered them." And for me, it's so much fun to receive DMs about that, or like someone sharing my post and say, "I just discovered this band." It makes me really, really happy.
Awesome.
That's why I do that.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. Now, where does your love and passion for punk rock come from? Like, how did it start for you personally?
It started at the end of high school because before that I was really into pop music, and I discovered punk rock because I had some friends who were listening to this. They started a band. They invited me to sing on some of their songs, so I got used to hear that sound. I really loved it. And once I asked one other friend to, because I only knew like Blink, Offspring, bands like this, Sum 41 maybe. So I asked someone like, can you make me a CD, a compilation CD, and with like a lot of bands? So he made me, he burned me a CD with Bad Religion, No Use for a Name, No FX. So that's how I was introduced to punk rock. And then I went to college, and like I said on another podcast that like I really wanted to club. So I stopped listening to punk rock at like from 18 to almost 20 because all I wanted to do is like clubbing. And then I read a philosophical book, The Brave New World novel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you read it, but it was in my philosophy class. I had to read it. So I was like, oh my god, I live such in a superficial world. I need to get back to punk rock. I need to get back to what the true values are. And then I got back to punk rock, and I started the radio show maybe a year after. And I didn't know much about punk rock. It's all the listeners. They used to call me, make some requests at the beginning of when I started the radio show. But at this time, I didn't have like internet to play the songs because it was in 2004. So
Okay.
I used to burn CDs and come back with new bands. So that's how but it's like I'm always learning still, about bands.
Cool. Yeah, cool. But like let me ask real quick. How did you start a radio show in 2004? Like, how is that? Because that's not something many people would even know how to do, let alone in in 2004. And why did you want to start a radio show, and how did that work back then?
Because I got back to listening to punk rock, and at college, I used to be in the radio committee. So we had a little radio place that would broadcast only in the college. So I already were introduced to like talking, playing music on air, quote unquote air. So, and when I was in university, I was studying psychology. There was a real radio station, but affiliated to the university. So it was broadcasting like everywhere in Quebec City, but based in the university. And I had some friends who had a radio show there. So I was like, hey, can I do one? Because I'm back to punk rock, and I don't know, I want to spread it. So yeah, that's why.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. And so you basically learned as you went, because you yourself had to rediscover punk rock, and you had to like dig through all the requests and like listen to those records yourself, and then discover all the bands in the process, which is a great way to do it, I think. So you basically shared what you just discovered yourself, and you just shared your journey.
Oh, wow.
Basically.
That's amazing you say that, because it's out of the topic, but I talked with my family a weekend ago, and because my sister skipped a year at school, because every time I came back from school, I used to teach her everything I learned in the day. So she skipped like her first year because she already knew how to read. So it just like popped up into my mind that maybe I'm that kind of person who just, oh, I got something, I give it now.
Yeah, but that's so awesome. Like,
but it's exactly that.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And probably like a lot of people probably skipped the class in the punk rock university now through your help. So
that's funny.
Yeah. I mean, and now I think it will be hard to find people who know more like bands and more about the songs and records than you do. Probably. I was a little scared about like talking about the actual records today, because I'm afraid that you know like 5 times as many songs and records as I do. So,
that's not really true, because I had some problem to memorize everything. And I'm more like, for example, Bad Religion is a good example. I prefer Bad Religion is an example of a band that I listen to lots of songs, but not necessarily the albums, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, and I was really, really into my local scene. So I don't know that much about our big, big bands, you know? I can't, like, I'm not how can I say that? So I'm still learning. I don't know everything by heart. I know where to find it, though.
Yeah, totally. Like, do you go to? I assume you do, but do you go to the record store and like look at the vinyl, maybe listen to records you haven't listened to before, and then maybe buy new records also just to see if you like them, or do you know exactly when you go there what you want to buy? And do you go to the record store at all, or do you order them online? Like, do you enjoy that process?
I do both. I have a very nice vinyl store, punk rock and loud music vinyl store at 4 minutes walk from my place. Awesome. So, and it's a friend of mine who has it. So, but when I go there, I don't know what I'm gonna buy, but I usually buy stuff I know already.
Okay.
Or a new album of a band I already know. Like I recently bought the new Dropkick Murphys. I didn't really listen to it before, but I saw it. I was like, oh yeah. So I bought it, and then I run home and listen to it. Yeah, I read the lyrics. And online, yeah, I bought a lot online, but usually it's something I know already.
Okay.
But I received, some bands send me their vinyl. And so it happens that I receive vinyl I don't know about. Some labels send me stuff too that I don't know, and it makes me super happy too, because I'm like, okay, Discovery Day. And I do the same thing. I sit and I listen and I read the lyrics. Yeah, I watch the vinyl spin. So it's a mix of all you said.
Cool, awesome. So you're still excited when like people send you stuff you don't know, you're still like excited to listen to it and discover it? It's not that you're getting tired of like having to listen to too many records, or?
No, I'm not tired at all. I just,
cool.
That's the most fun part of what I do is exactly this. I mean, I think people sometimes are too stuck in the nostalgia, like this 90s band. And it's my case. Like, my heart will always belong to the 90s. The Fat Records album, Epitaph albums, you know. But I think it's so important to stay informed about the new bands, because like a lot of time I listen to a band and I'm like, this is as good as Lagwagon. It's like, I don't know, I give an example of this little band from Sweden or Germany. It's like, it could be as good. I mean, they are as good as Lagwagon or NoFX, but like they won't have the exposure, you know. So that's why I always find some very nice treasures.
Yeah, that's super cool. So what would you say is a discovery, like a surprise that you've discovered and it turned out that you really, really like that record? Could be at the record store, could be something somebody sent to you. Like, do you remember one specific case where you didn't know anything about the band and then it turned out that you really, really loved the record?
Yeah, it happens so often. It's awesome. It's hard to find. Recently, Pirates Press Records sent me a vinyl of an amazing artist. Her name is Susie Moon. I don't know if you you know her.
Nope.
She used to play
I'm gonna
in
write
a
it down.
band called Civette.
Okay.
She just released the EP,
Mm-hmm.
and I absolutely didn't know her at all. I knew Civette a little bit from when I was younger, but I didn't know that woman was in this band. I didn't know she did some solo projects. So I listened to it. I was like, wow, that's so great. So that's a good example.
Cool.
Recently, it's not a vinyl, but a lot of bands send me like links, Spotify links, Apple Music links, Bandcamp, so I can discover them. And recently, an amazing band from Thailand called Stay Awake.
Okay.
It's my rePUNKmendation this week on the episode.
Awesome.
I was like, what? Okay, that's really good. So put it on the show.
Cool.
But it happens all the time.
I'll put all of these in the show notes for you guys to check, so you can check these bands out. It's awesome. Like I'd love to get recommendations like this as well, and I can't wait to check this out. So, and is there, what would you say is like the most underrated record or punk record of all time, or one of the most underrated records?
Let me think. Underrated.
What's a record that's maybe not the most popular from a band, but you think it's the best or a great one?
Okay, I like Cool to Be You from Descendants. I think it's overrated.
Overrated or underrated?
Underrated, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Underrated. Yeah. Everyone talks about Milo Goes to College. It's a very great album, but Cool to Be You for me, it's mine.
Awesome.
The NoFX Wolves in Wolves Clothing.
Oh,
totally
yeah, I agree.
Underrated for me. It's in my top 3, but we never hear about it, or really
agree.
few. Yeah. What else? Yeah, there's a lot.
I figured. That's why I asked.
Oh, yeah. I could think about it and give you a list, but now that's the 2 that
that's
comes to my mind.
That's already cool. Very good. So it happens that the most popular records are not necessarily the ones you like best. Yeah, totally.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's a matter of taste, and yeah.
Yeah. Let's get back to what you do now, your podcast that you just started.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find your guests for the podcast? Are these all like connections that you had before? Or are you just reaching out to people?
I do both. My first guests were like people I were already in touch with on Instagram, like Josh Portman from Yellow Card is a friend of mine. We never met, but we talk about sci-fi stuff, music, like very fun stuff. So I tried to start with people I was already comfortable with, because I was a little scared at first, like interviewing, for example, Jesse Michaels from Operation Ivy. I was like, it was among my first guests. I was like scared a little, not of him, of myself. And so I started with, Josh, that I already knew. Jesse, we exchanged some conversation together about our cats, Jesse Michaels. And he sent me a shirt because he has a clothing company. So I felt already a little comfortable, that I was like, oh, that's you. It's Jesse Michael from Operation Ivy. I mean, I need to be good interviewer, right? But yeah, and sometimes I look what are the new releases, and I reach the bands like Chaser, for example. They released a new album, so I wanted to talk about it. Same thing for Belvedere, the new album. I already know Steve.
Steve is awesome.
I met him a couple of times. Yeah, hi Steve. So yeah, it's a mix of, and sometimes there's some, like Melanie Kay. You know her? Do you know her? She has a PR company.
I know her from your podcast because I've listened to the episode, at least part of it. Yeah.
So sometimes she's like, are you interested to have this guest? And I'm like, yeah. So it's a mix of everything, I should say. But I started with people I already know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, that totally. I was just interested.
Because I was really insecure at first, like really. So I think my first episode took me 30 hours to build.
Really?
Because I was like, yeah, oh my God, I was a mess.
I mean, yeah, I can totally see that, but I think it gets way easier over time, and I think that I don't know, like once the interviews starts, once we're rolling, it's always, I don't know, these are just people. You just talk to normal
Yeah.
people, and they are so cool most of the time. And then, it's something you need to get used to, I think. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's cool. You mentioned Steve. I really appreciate that, because Steve from Belvedere, and this is a standoff. He is
Yeah.
so amazing. He's been to my hometown a couple of times. He stayed at
Oh,
our place. Like, I don't know, it's like more than 10 years ago, I think was the first time when he was
wow.
here. And he also did, that was so amazing. He did an acoustic show here in my hometown in a little club
Oh, ah,
with Josh from, now it gets embarrassing. I don't remember his band's name. I just know that he was
it's
with
fine.
Steve, and they did a acoustic duo sort of thing. And
Oh,
do you know the acoustic record that Steve put out?
with his, it was with an electric guitar or acoustic guitar?
It was an acoustic guitar. It was a purely acoustic record, and it's so beautiful. It's called, let's see,
I,
Steve
it
Rolls.
is it alone? Because yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it's called Bonus Room.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah, sure.
And that, I love that record. I
Long
love
time
the
ago.
melodies and those
Yeah.
songs. And they played it live here, and it was one of the best shows for me personally. There were not many people, but it was such a great atmosphere and vibe. And Steve is just great. So there's that.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's great.
and you gotta love Belvedere, of course, as well. So
Oh, sure.
totally.
Yeah.
So what would be a guest you would absolutely love to talk to that you haven't had the chance yet? Or like, if you could pick anyone, like alive or dead, doesn't matter. If you could pick anyone, who would you want to talk to?
Tony Sly.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, because he had such an influence on me. Oh yeah. I started to learn acoustic guitar a long time ago, and the first song I tried to play was Justify Black Eye from No Use for a Name. So that would be him. I wish I could interview Joey Cape someday too.
All right.
Maybe Fat Mike, like lead singer of those big bands. But at the same time, I don't know what I would ask them. Or Tony, yeah, but because I feel like we already know so much things. So I wonder if I would have the right inspiration, you know?
I bet you would, because first of all, I think you are a great interviewer, and I don't know where the insecurity comes from in your case, because you are so experienced. Yeah, I mean, you are so experienced
I don't know.
obviously in doing radio stuff and podcasting and talking on a mic. It's like you seem perfectly relaxed and calm. So like, there's really nothing to worry about, I think. And
Yeah.
like with guests like Joey, I had him on my podcast, and he's just such a great communicator. And
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, he's great.
he's just a storyteller. So I don't think you have to do much if you interview him,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, obviously there's something to it, but these people usually, the great thing about people like those is that they do the work for you, because they're just interesting people. They just
Totally.
share interesting stories. So yeah,
Maybe I'll try.
yeah, totally.
I would love also to have Shanna Potter from War on Women.
Oh yeah.
She also has an amazing podcast. She is so great. She wrote a book about making venues and like making space safer. She's opening my own eyes on so many topics. She's an amazing front woman, a great songwriter. I admire her so much. So she's in the top of my list. I'm gonna ask her soon. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. I would be looking forward to that. Yeah, totally. How do you see that's an interesting and also a difficult topic as well. So I'm not going to say too much about this as well, but I'm curious what you say about it. How do you view the situation for like women in the scene and bands with women in them? Like, is it developing? And if so, do you see it go in a positive direction? Because again, I won't say too much on this topic. I just know that for the longest part, where I have been active in bands and touring and meeting a lot of people, it was always such a shame that no matter where you went, it was so male dominated. And so I'm just curious, like, you have probably more to say about that, but I'm just curious how you see what you see the direction you see the scene go into.
I see a lot of evolution, like you said. It's. I mean, I started this radio show 17 years ago, and it was hard to find bands with women that was like the same four.
Yeah.
Or it started slowly, but now I could do like half, maybe not the half, but like a part of my show with women in the band. So it's amazing. I think people is way more open to have women on the stage. I think women has more initiative to start playing music. They know more that it's possible. We can do it. Like, because we see more and more women on the stage, so we're like, oh, maybe I can, me too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, there's still improvement to make.
Yeah, totally.
We need to because like even in Quebec, some festivals makes great effort to put a lot of women on their lineups, but some of them just don't care still. I still see some festivals with like no bands or one band with a female singer. So I think, like I talked with Melanie Kay on my podcast, like she was saying, so the promoters now have to sit down and think, okay, we need to make a list of bands with women and reach them. It's so simple, you know. But at the same time, if you ask all the promoters, they will say, yes, I want more women on the stage, of course. But I think it's now time to just, like I said, sit down, think about some bands and reach them.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. I'm guilty of this as well with my podcast. Like, I have way more interviews with men than I have with women, but it's not intentional. It's just like I reach out to people that I've got to know over the years, and I didn't even think about it. But what's cool about the whole thing is that my audience actually, a couple of times, like, they appreciate it when I do it, and they inform me about that, because sometimes I think some promoters, it's the same. Sometimes they just don't see it themselves. They just don't realize that they're doing it.
Exactly.
And once you tell them, they'll be like, okay, sure, I need to sit down and really do this. And so that's an effort we all need to make, I think. And but at the same time, you don't want to do it. Like, it's just difficult because you want like people just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why I don't want to get too deep into this. But the thing is, I got even rejected from people because they thought I just want to interview them because they are women. And that's, and like, obviously I want to talk to people because they're interesting. I don't care, like, what they identify
I get
with,
it.
So
I understand. And I wouldn't want someone to tell me I'm inviting you just because you're a woman and I needed a woman.
Of course.
But at the same
I would never do that.
At the same time, like the Poudza Fest in Quebec, it's a very great festival, a punk rock festival. They totally intentionally put almost half bands with women or LGBTQ people, or so they probably sat down and said, okay, we do it. So all bands with women, and turns out it's a very good lineup every year,
That's the thing, like, it's obviously. So yeah, totally. No,
but I think, so that's an improvement. We still have some work to do about it. We still have a lot of work to do about women objectivation.
I know what you mean.
Objectify women. I don't know in English.
I know what you mean. I think that,
because I mean, I'm lucky. I don't receive a lot of stupid shit from men, but I know women who receive a lot. Musicians, punk rockers in the shows. So, oh my God, it hurts. Like, it still need improvement about it. Like the Bump Ups girls, I don't know if you saw them doing their videos about the comments they receive in their DMs. It's totally disgusting.
No, I haven't seen the videos. I heard the story, but I haven't seen the videos. Yeah, it's like,
So, but a lot of women still receive those things, and I think so yes, it's fun to see more women on the scene, but that doesn't mean that people has to only talk about their physical appearance, or are they sexy on the stage, or they are not. Like, no, like, they are musicians. So treat them like musicians, like, talk about their talent too. I mean, you know what I mean?
absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. That yeah, totally. So yeah, thank you for that. It's just I'm just genuinely curious
Thanks.
because I think when you talk about topics like this, you should probably talk to women about it and not like two men discussing
I
this topic.
appreciate
So
that, and what is fun and great, a great thing is that there's a lot of punk rock women podcasters too,
oh yeah,
like the Mabel Syndrome, the Sound Sister podcast. There are more and more women in podcasting. It's fun, like the sound, Sound Sisters, Riot Squad girls, like a lot of them. It's really fun.
awesome, cool. As I said, I'm gonna put all of these in the show notes so people can check them out.
Oh yeah.
So
Name dropping a lot of things.
yes,
You have
absolutely.
big show notes to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll do it. Yeah. So, all right. Now, is the radio show still a thing then? With now that the podcast is your like is the main thing you do, or it seems like to be the main thing you do? When I like on Instagram, that's the platform where I discovered most of what you do, and
Yeah.
for some time for a long time you were mainly posting like stories about your radio show and stuff, and I didn't understand much of it because that show was in French, I think.
Yes,
So, yeah.
it's in French.
Yeah,
It's still a thing.
yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's what I was curious about because those things seem to disappear a little bit from my feed, but instead I saw the podcast and I started listening to the podcast and I was wondering, like, has that replaced the radio show or?
No, I still do both, but I know it's confusing, and I totally understand because I'm always in my home studio because of COVID. I don't go live in the studios anymore, so I do everything from here. I still hosting it, but I pre-record on Sundays, and that's when I do my Facebook Live because I love to do Facebook Live with the listeners. It's the best thing in the world for me is this moment, like on Sunday nights, 6:30 East. I record my radio show, so like I play music. I choose a playlist every week, like 6 or 7 songs from bands I discover. Blah blah blah. I record it. I have my Facebook Live, and people are making requests, so I add their request on the show. So when I speak on the mic, it's in French, but when the songs are playing, I cut the mic and I talk to my people on the Facebook Live. So when I post some playlist posts on Instagram, it's because of my radio show.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
But I
think
know
get it.
it's I don't write clearly like this is my radio show. Here's the playlist, but like yeah. So but I wish I could go live again.
That's such a cool concept actually to do that live and like talk to your people or like do it live with your audience. But
it's fun.
So because you said you wish you could go live again, why can't you at the moment? Did I miss
because
that
of
part?
COVID, but
Okay.
I think I can slowly going back into studio. Yeah, I
in
will.
the studio. Okay, you can't do the live from home.
At the actual studio. Yeah, no, I don't do it. I do my Facebook Live, but my show is pre-record. Like
okay,
I do
now I
my
got it.
live
Okay.
while I'm recording.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you do
sorry.
the Facebook Live and but you're not live on air. That's the
No,
thing.
exactly.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it. All right. Is it easy to do, or are there any like legal problems or challenges when you like stream music live to Facebook and record it for a radio show and stuff? I just figure like how that works, or if that's just not a thing.
Okay, 2 things. When I do my playlist, I write everything in charts because it's still affiliated to an actual radio station.
Okay.
So I chart everything. I send it to it's called La Stocka in Quebec, but they distribute all the rights. Even if in the US they like, but the thing is on Facebook, there's no way to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I play bigger bands like Rancid, always Rancid, or like people bands on major label, I got flagged and I get mute afterward for a song. Well, I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
That's my punk side. I'm like, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah,
and
totally.
we'll see. Because my punk side is like, I wish the bands could have some royalties because I play them. I want to pay Facebook, like $10 a month to and they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna pay royalties. I don't know. Make me pay, but I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's why I'm asking. Like I know you would do definitely, but it's like
I want to be legit.
yeah, but it's this tricky thing. I ask because this is a known problem. Like there are a lot of people who use Facebook to do these like sort of live streams,
Yeah.
and they are facing the same challenge basically. And yeah, it's like it's a shame because it's a cool platform to do that. I think that's the only really cool thing to do at the moment on Facebook is like having a community and doing live stuff or like community building basically because all the rest is like getting less and less popular. But like the communities and the lives, this is the main reason to use Facebook, in my opinion. And for
Totally.
for things like you do, would be really great if they would make it easier for people. But
I wish we could find a solution, and eventually we'll have to, because it's really sad to that the bands are not paid, but also that my show is muted, but there's no solution to make it legit. So what am I do? So I need to stop playing bands and giving them love.
Yeah.
No. So I do it.
Yeah, that's not a solution. No.
But that's what they want me to do. They want me to stop.
Yeah, totally.
But they don't want me to pay. So what? No, doesn't make sense. So my punk spirits say, no, just keep doing it. Okay, you'll get mute when you play bigger bands, but at least I can still play my small bands, you know?
Yeah.
And on the podcast, it's more tricky. So I ask permission to the bands, and some label told me you can play everything. So I have like arrangements. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Someday I wish I could make money with this podcast so I could pay the bands to feature on my show. That would be great.
Maybe it happens. Or maybe, I mean, it could even go the other way around, like depending on how popular it is. It could even be that you get paid from bands or labels to play the stuff. But that's a weird position to be in because I think you, exactly. I think you want to play what you want to play and not what you're getting paid to play. So that's...
Yeah, I don't want to go there. I don't say I will never do that, but
yeah, of course.
Because of course, my biggest dream would be to live about like having a real income of spreading punk rock, of course, and maybe I could pay a team to help me and like, you know, and pay the bands, but it's not realistic. So yeah, maybe it is, but
yeah,
I don't think so for now.
I'm not sure about that. It could very well be realistic, but like,
but I still want to be independent and choose what I play. Like,
yeah. And I think you do it so well because
super important.
Yeah, because what you do, and I want to encourage people to do that, is first of all, check out like Émilie's podcast. It's called the Roquette Show. And you'll find Émilie on Instagram as well if you look for like Punk Roquette. And I'm going to put all of that in the show notes as well, of course. And then if you like the show, which I assume you do, then there is a way you can support Émilie. And that is you can go to Patreon, for example, and you become a Patreon. Yeah. It's very affordable. It's just a way to support Émilie. But I think if a lot of people do it, it will be helpful for you. And you do this, like the Patreon thing, and you do the Buy Me a Coffee thing. And like, I think these are the best ways to do it. Like you're building a community, people can support you, but it's not like you're not, you're giving them extra value for that, of course, but it's not that you're still free to do whatever you want. And that is like a very important aspect of what you do, I think.
Oh yeah. Because I used to work in social work before, and I stopped, and I actually thought about going to have a professional radio host course, but then I was like, no, I want to be independent and do my own thing. So I couldn't work on main radio station and talk about what they ask me to talk. So no, I won't do that, you know. So, and but you know, there's a lot of, even for your podcast, I mean, there's a lot of way to support podcasters. It's not only financial, but like sharing it, like talking. If you have some punk rock friends, you can talk to them about the podcast you like. That's subscribing, and like, so you see the episodes coming. It's already a great way, but it's like the punk mentality. If you don't have money, it's fine. You still get all the rePUNKmendations, and you still have access to almost to everything. But if you can afford subscribing or like supporting, you can do also, everything
Yeah.
is fine.
I think many people are not aware that like just subscribing and leaving a review, for example, on Apple Podcasts is so helpful
Just
for us
this.
podcasters, because if a lot of people do that, then
Mhm.
this will help us reach more people, because we will be recommended more often. People will find us in the search, and
Exactly.
this is so super helpful. And it's not about making money, but it's about reaching more people with our messages and what we do here and the amazing interviews that we do. And I think
Yeah.
that many people just don't do it because they assume somebody else will do it. Like if we say, please subscribe and leave a review, then they'll be like, yeah, I'm sure someone will do it, so I don't have to. And like, but if everyone thinks that, no one will leave a review. So I think
Yeah, I know.
I'm guilty of that as well. I haven't reviewed every
You're
single
frozen.
podcast that I
Okay.
listen to, but
Yeah.
yeah. But I think
That's so important, and it's also with the feedback. Like everyone who's writing me message about the episode makes me so happy. It's a very important kind of support too.
totally, like this is the best thing, as you said. If you get messages like this totally, it's just such a good feeling to see that people get something out of these episodes. Okay, so
really fun.
you are a musician yourself as well, and now we have talked a lot about your podcasts and radio and stuff, but you are a musician yourself, and I discovered a couple of your cover videos, and I actually think that this would, I might be wrong, but I think that this was how I discovered your Instagram, or like rediscovered it anyways, because I saw
nice.
I saw some. I think I came across the profile at some point. I forgot about it, and then I saw videos over and over again of different things you did, and then I came back. And one of the most impressive videos that I saw, and I'm gonna put that as well in the show notes. They keep getting longer and longer.
I'll help you. I'm gonna send you things.
Yeah, please. No, there was this one video where you did She's Kerosene by the Interrupters, and I really, really love that cover so much. I remember watching that video, I don't know, 10 times in a row, and then I got home and showed it to my wife and said, like, look at this amazing cover that I just discovered. That's way better than the original. And I'm like,
oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
So I really remember that. And then, but I was not sure, and that's what I wanted to ask. What about your own, like, musical journey? Like, do you I think you write songs yourself, or do this covers? Like, what is it that you do there?
Mostly covers. I try to write, but it's never good enough for me, so I don't really show what I write, but I really want to. I've been trying to find some musicians to start original, very fast skate punk band, like a Belvedere band. Something like that. It's really hard to find musicians in Quebec City, so I'm trying to find maybe people from all around the world, but like just to make a studio EP, because I really want to write. I think I'm ready now, but like I said in the intro, I really love to collab with bands and sing on their original songs. I'm really lucky because I do that a lot, and it's super great. So it helps me like to feel fulfilled with music about that. I really love acoustic cover songs. Like my band, 50 Shades of Punk Rock, we love to adapt songs or classic songs of the 90s. And it's still creative for me because we finding new harmonies, and on the cover you mentioned the She's Kerosene cover I made with Carl Bullets. So it's not my band, but it's a good friend of mine. He told me, like, can you change a little the second verse and push it and da-da-da? So I just started to sing because the melody is not exactly the same on my verse. So it's fun to experiment something new, even if it's cover song. But I really want to write my own songs with a band. That's what's missing in my life, even if I probably don't have the time to do it.
I was wondering, like, when would you do that? But yeah. I mean, I can totally see that. I don't have an active band right now. I am technically in a couple of bands, but we're not active, and I really miss that part as well because I don't know. I can't imagine not being in a band, and I can see that. But time is the issue, as you said.
Exactly. But I don't have kids, so it helps.
Oh,
and it's still like with COVID, it allowed me to start this podcast, find some times. So we'll see, but it's
you gotta
finding time.
Yeah, totally. Like people, you gotta check out this cover with Carl, and also you gotta check out the Dear Coach's Corner cover because you just mentioned Propaganda before, and like this Propaganda is one of my favorite bands of all time. Like I love them
me
so
too.
much, and Dear Coach's Corner especially is just such a great song. And there is an amazing cover of that as well on, I think, what's the YouTube channel? It's Carl's YouTube channel, right?
It's Carl Boulets. Yeah,
exactly.
Carl Boulets.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And it was such a fun studio experience, you know.
Okay, tell me more about that. How did you do that?
We did that in the studio, both songs, the Dear Coach's Corner and She's Kerosene. We did that in a town called Saint-Jérôme. It's like an hour from Montreal. And it was really, really amazing because we live 3 hours apart. So we couldn't practice it. So we built the cover in distance. And like I got to his place for She's Kerosene. The next day we were recording it and we chose almost everything the day before. And it was a very fun experience in the studio because like, I don't know, they really asked me to push more my voice and just have fun, try something new. So I got a lot of confidence and like it was a very, very fun experience. I was like, oh, I can do that. Yeah.
You've been playing music and on stage and in bands before that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
but but you still needed that push, like that realization that you can actually pull it off?
I haven't recorded a lot in my life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was talking about studio specifically because on stage I just have fun. It's fun. I don't like it. It's only fun on the stage. Yeah.
I can imagine because your energy, even on the podcast, is like so contagious, and so
thanks.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that you would be like insecure in a situation like that. But
no,
recording is different than on the stage. Like,
I'm a little insecure, but I think it's more like an anxiety, performance anxiety, because I really want everything to be perfect. So for a long time, I just wouldn't do anything because I wouldn't be perfect. But then I'm just like, no, that's enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Like life is too short, you know? So.
Yeah. So what's the most fun song to play with a cover band or yourself? Like, is there a song that you specifically enjoy the most?
Yeah. I have a lot. Which one? It depends because it depends of the way we arranged it. Me and my bandmate Simon. What? I really love our version of Violins from Lagwagon and Face to Face Blind because we do, in both songs we do gazoo harmonies. So it's really fun for the crowd, I think.
That's fun, yeah.
Maybe it's annoying, but it's fun.
It's totally
like
fun.
He started and then I'm like so it's really funny. So for me it's like, and it's really fun because the crowd is like listening and then you see their eyes being like full of stars and like, oh, gazoo. And we do like nice harmonies and verse exchange. So we both are lead singers. So it's really, really fun because he does the first verse, I do the second one, harmony. So it's very dynamic. And the gazoo, I think it's the most fun thing in the world. We sometimes have a guest, our friend Stephanie, who plays trumpet and sax.
Yeah.
So it's fun to make ska sets, special like ska songs. I really love this. So we drop the gazoo a little and we let her do the orange parts.
Do you take like punk songs that are originally not ska songs and turn them into some, or do you take ska songs and cover them? Like
mostly ska songs, but we did it with Linoleum. We made a ska version of it once.
Okay, I can see that work. That's fun. That's fun for sure. Okay, so I need another list, I think, from you. And now this list is, now that I know the songs that are or the type of songs that's most fun to you to play, what is a song? No, before I ask you about this list, sorry, I need to pedal back a little bit.
That's fine.
I need to know first, what is a song that is like super challenging or that is hard to? I mean, at least for me, it was sometimes the case when we covered songs where it's technically maybe not too difficult to do it, but it's hard to make it feel right. It's hard to put the right emotion or energy into it, or like where the original has something that's just so hard to replicate or to get across. Like, has this ever happened to you?
Okay. One big challenge I had was a song I made with Jan. He's a cello player. We did Today's Empire, Tomorrow's Ashes from Propagandy, and I love this song. I love the message, but it's so hard to sing because I'm a French speaker, and the English lyrics are so fast and so like intelligent, with words I never say in English. So it was really hard to put emotion because I was obsessed with the technique. Like, I need to pronounce,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but you did an amazing job with that one as well, by the way.
I practiced a lot. It was really fun to practice. So I had fun all along the process. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But I think that would be challenging for anybody. I think even a native speaker, like Propagandy lyrics are so, not only are they intelligent, but they are sometimes, the rhythm is sometimes completely different to what you're used to from other bands. Because it seems like oftentimes their songs are an essay put on top of a song, It's like not,
I know.
There is not this rhythm, this logical like sequence or like the way the song builds. It's a song, and on top of it is this huge pile of words.
So it's like, it's not like, it's like,
And then they stop in the middle of the sentence. Like when the part ends, they are in the middle of the sentence and then they continue in the next part and stuff like that, So, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was hard to put emotions because I was like, I just need to pronounce the words first and we'll see after. And I started to play some piano covers by myself. And it's so because I bought a piano during pandemic, because I used to play piano a lot when I was a teenager. And so with pandemic, I was like, I just wanted a new challenge.
Again.
Another one. So I was like, I want to play cover with a piano. And so this is the opposite. Every song almost make me cry because it's so easy to put emotion in it.
Yeah, it's right. Piano works for that very well. And isn't it funny how many great punk songs have just amazing chord progressions and melodies that as soon as you play them on the piano, it's just such a beautiful song. Like even the faster, aggressive songs sometimes have such beautiful melodies. And like, I think that's
I know. I practiced Invincible of No Use for a Name, and I was like, oh my God, it's so sad. But when you listen to it on the album, it's like aggressive, like, But acoustic on piano, it's like, oh my God, so sad. And I'm practicing these days a song of Story of the Year, Until the Day I Die. And it's like, oh my God, I realized how much the emo lyrics were toxic, like super violent and like domestic violence. And I'm singing it with so many emotion. It's like, oh, it's so intense. I just can't handle this.
Yeah, it gets even worse with piano, I think. Yeah, totally.
Because I saw this band a lot back in the days, and they were like doing backflips on the stage. It was super happy show with super violent lyrics, So playing it on piano is like, oh shit, it's like horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. What I also think is funny is that I wonder why people connect so well with Propagandy and why people like us like love the band so much and also their songs and the feeling in their songs when they do it like things so unconventionally. Because like usually the songs that connect most or the bands that are most popular, they have like pretty catchy like lyrics and combinations of lyrics and melodies, and it like you know. And Propagandy is pretty damn complicated, as we said, and like very unconventional, but still it connects with people. And I wonder why that is. I wonder why. And it's not only like music people who love it because it's complicated. It's like, it really connects on an emotional level as well. And I wonder why that is. Because actually, they do the opposite of what you're supposed to be, quote unquote, of what you're supposed to do. But it works so well.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think they have really intense choruses sometimes. Even if, sometimes it's hard to say, okay, this is a verse, this is a chorus, about the structures of the song sometimes are complicated, but like Dear Coach's Corner, for me, it sounds so melodic to me, you know?
Yeah, to me too. Yeah.
But so they have kind of both songs. I don't know.
They have these moments, right? These magical moments in each song. Like even if the structure is complicated, but there are these moments that just stand out. Like when Dear Coach's Corner, after the loud intro, like when he starts to sing, that's instant magic right there. It's like,
We're on the McLean. So it's like,
exactly.
It's quiet down, and then they are genius. And I think we all relate to their message, like anti-racist, anti-homophobic, anti-transphobia, etc., anti-sexist, you know. So we just love them.
Yeah, you gotta love them. Totally.
We need them.
Yeah, we need them more than ever, I think. And we'll always need bands like that. So yeah.
Yeah, because you know, I have, like, I agree with all those values. Of course, I live those values inside me, but I'm not a huge speaker, you know. I'm a little low profile. I don't like confrontation, so I need those bands to speak loud for me. You know what I mean?
I can totally see that. I can do that as well. I mean, yeah, you put it pretty well there. I think we all have opinions that we should have, and no one is like, there is no such thing as you can't be unpolitical or like not political. Like every person has opinions and should have, and every band should have those as well. But not everybody can transport them or communicate them in a way that like propaganda can. Like they are the outliers there, and we definitely need them. Yeah.
But that's why I say I need them to say it for me, because I'm a little shy. I don't like to fight. It's me. It's my personality. I want to respect myself too, you know, but I will always support those bands, and I need them. I just need them.
And you know what? You do more than enough in that regard, because you are sharing all those messages of these great bands, and you just do it. I don't think you don't do it. You just do it differently. I think you absolutely do it. I think it's very clear to everybody who follows you or who listens to your shows. It's very clear what you think about things, and it's very clear what types of bands you share. You just choose a different format of doing it.
Yeah.
And that's perfectly fine. As you said, you got to listen to what, like, yourself and what you're comfortable with doing. And I think everybody finds their way to do this. So that's also something I want to tell the listeners as well, is like, whatever it is that you are good at or feel comfortable at, you gotta find it out, but you'll eventually find out, and then you just gotta pursue it. It might be starting a band, it might be starting a podcast, it might be doing a fanzine, it might be putting on shows, or it might be, I don't know, cooking for bands at your local venue and connecting with them that way. Like, you know, like, it could be all sorts of things, but if you find a way to be connected with people and to be involved in the scene, you're doing so much, and it's so valuable, and there's no better or worse way to do it. You just gotta find your own, I think.
Oh yeah, that's so well said. So true.
Yeah. So now I need another list. Finally, another final.
Okay.
I need the ultimate list now from you, Emily, and that is for people. Like, let's assume there are people who just discovered their love for punk rock, or they are maybe very young and they know what happened maybe during the last 1, 2, 3 years or so. What would you recommend to people like that? What are your top, I don't know, pick just a handful of recommendations. Let's say 5 recommendations that everybody needs to discover, that everybody needs to check out. Like the must listen to records that everyone needs to listen to.
Okay. Oh my God, that's a very nice question. I love it. Okay, first, they should start with their local scene.
Okay, cool.
So I can tell a specific band because all local scene. But they absolutely need to support their local scene. It's the first thing. Because local bands are into like local stuff lyrics. They're talking about their like country, their city, maybe in their song. So it's a good way, and it's so important. But I would say like they should try to look at at least one Bad Religion album.
Yep.
Because of the lyrics, the message, the big part of the history they are. So I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe Suffer. I don't know. Like I said, Bad Religion is one of the band that I'm not into specific albums, but the old songs. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, Suffer, No Control, maybe. I would say maybe a older, like Descendants, probably. I said Cool to Be You, but they can start with Milo Goes to College. It's fine. Like it's their classic, so they need to. I would go to with a ska album too, maybe a Less Than Jake album.
Okay, yeah.
Because ska is part of the punk rock scene,
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's kind of it's sort of a love it or hate it thing, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like ska is very polarizing.
I know.
But they should absolutely check it out because it might be for them. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right? They'll see. They'll judge by themselves. But I think it's for someone who's totally new, you have to check a lot of things.
100%.
So yeah, one local scene, I would say maybe a new, more recent band like War on Women, like I said, because they have a very feminist view. They have great message too. It's more like hardcore sounding, sounds a little like propaganda sometimes. So I would say that.
Yeah. They've been touring together as well, I think, in Europe.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a good list. So we have Bad Religion, we have War on Women, we have Descendants, a local band, and Less Than Jake, or like a ska. Yeah, that's a perfect list, actually. Very cool.
if you would ask me that tomorrow, I would say totally different things.
Okay, maybe there is a definite answer to the next final question on that in that regard, and that is, what is your all-time favorite record personally?
Oh my God, this could change too, but the most stable is No Use for a Name, Making Friends.
Okay,
so many great classics in my heart, but. When I'm Scream, Carrie Suicide is really close second because it's my favorite band.
Okay.
But the No Use for a Name album it's like my roots, my roots. Like when I started to listen to punk rock for real, that was my album. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that.
That's a great choice for sure. Is that also?
But wait, because my favorite song is The Decline from NoFX. And it's also an album, so...
Yeah, it's a song and an album at once.
This question is a trap.
Yeah, totally. It's very hard. I couldn't answer it for myself, I think. I don't know if I have...
No, it's really hard. But, yeah, Making Friends. Yeah.
That's a very good answer. Are these, like all the bands you mentioned now that they came up over and over again, are these also the bands that you have the most merch items from? Like, or are you collecting merch as you do with vinyl? Or like...
I am a huge t-shirts collector. I have like 200 t-shirts or something. Yeah. No, I don't. I'm not... I love to collect vinyl and shirts, but I'm not like a huge collector. Sometimes you see someone posting all their collection of NoFX and they have like all variants of all singles they released. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I love people who do that, but I don't. I've been collecting vinyl for only 3 years, so it's not a huge collection yet, but no, and shirts, when I have a shirt of a band, I don't usually get another one unless it's totally impossible to wear it anymore.
Yeah. That brings up another thing here that I'm wondering. Do you have any like real, at least to you personally, like collector's items that you would never wear or listen to, like stuff that's still like in the original package or stuff like that?
You mean that I will never open? No.
Or not, or at least not wear it or listen to it, like stuff that's just maybe some very rare vinyl issue or some rare tour T-shirt or whatever, like stuff you just don't wear or use because so that it like stays new, basically?
No, I don't have any of this.
Yeah, I think
no, because
I don't
for
either.
me it's like I bought a vinyl, I want to listen to it right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm gonna listen to it for a whole week.
Exactly.
So I totally understand that people are like it's a legendary vinyl. So, but at the same time, I don't have like a lot of really expensive things. Like I don't think I have a lot. So, like, but anyway, I would listen to those vinyl, I think.
Yeah, me too. Like, yeah, that's funny because that people are so different here, and I don't see that. I can understand it, but I would never do it as well. Like, I don't have a single item that
No, for me, it's music, so I need to listen to it. That's it. That's simple.
Yeah. I think I never even bought a second version of the same record. So I have one version of each record. I've never bought another vinyl color or anything like that. I appreciate that people that label do that, but I just don't buy it.
No, I don't do that either. But like I said, I'm in love with the albums, the music, but not that much with the object. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Totally. Same thing with the shirts. The t-shirts, I love to cut the sleeves and like it has to be wore. I need to wear it. Like, worn. Yeah.
I think I'm not sure, but yeah, I know what you mean. Awesome.
Let's say that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I hope we didn't miss anything very important here because it's so much that you do, and it's like I just want to recap for people that they should absolutely check out the podcast, and they should. Like, what's the name of the radio show? Because I haven't mentioned that, I think. And I think you should pronounce it because I'm going to totally mess it up if I do.
It's called Punk Détente. Détente means relaxing.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's a pun because back in the days in 2004 and before that, we used to have a radio station in Quebec City called, in the old province of Quebec called Rock Détente.
Oh, okay.
Like rock détente. But it wasn't really rock. Like it was like pop, some rock, but like very relaxing station. So that's why I called my radio show Punk Détente.
That's actually a good title. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So you can check that. You said, yeah, just check it out. You'll see. You'll find out. I was about to ask if it makes sense if you don't speak French, but if you like the music, check it out still, I think. And
I would recommend people to check the Facebook Live because I translate in English what I say in the mic in French. And I talk to everyone. I talk French and English on my Facebook Live. But if they want to listen to only the music and with a good sound, because I do my Facebook Live with my phone, they should listen to the podcast afterward, the radio station podcast. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So where do people find you on Facebook? How do people find those Facebook Lives?
You go on my Facebook page, Punk Roquette Podcast and Music. That's the title of the page.
Awesome. Cool.
Really easy. Yeah. And just one thing I want to say is that it's so fun because people could listen to everything they want with a great sound anytime they want. But I appreciate so much that people are going on the Facebook Live and they're making some requests. It's like, hey, play some NoFX, play some Pennywise, play blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's rad because I play it with a shitty sound and you're still there.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the whole thing that's so fascinating to me about all of this. Like you could go to,
really fun.
I mean, we could go to Spotify easily and just play the songs ourselves, but they prefer to hang out with you and that because I think we just love to share these experiences, these moments with people, and it's just a different thing to do it with others. And like I don't know, it's just there's some magical element to this, and I really think it's amazing.
People are talking together without me on the chat, so it's fun. And I think it's the community that it's important because and they're like, did you play my song? I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, it's coming.
That's so awesome.
It's really funny.
Yeah, like people absolutely check that out. Go to Facebook and search for Punk Roquette podcast and music, and you'll find these these streams. Also, the Punk Roquette Show podcast, as I said. Yeah, the radio show.
Available everywhere.
And like your Instagram page is Punk Roquette as well. Your profile. You're on TikTok as well, I think. I think you have a pretty good link tree on Instagram where you can find all
I have a link tree in my profile. I don't like TikTok a lot, to be honest.
Okay.
I love to do TikTok and share it on Instagram, but I don't know. I don't see a lot of punk rockers there. Maybe it's my algorithm who's fucked up. I don't know, but we'll see if I stay.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
I'm there.
It's a weird little parallel universe like that.
I don't think I fit there, to be honest, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So anything else you want to let people know? Anything you want to absolutely mention, or anything we've missed maybe?
No, everything we covered everything. Just like, I think what I could say at the end is that you should really listen to new bands and keep your brain like stimulated by new stuff.
Totally.
I think it's important. That's what I would say.
Totally do that. And Emily's going to help you with that because she's sharing all the good stuff that you might not have heard about yet.
Thank you. That was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the time, Emily. It was a lot of fun and so insightful. And yeah, it's like, thank you, really. Cool. Let's wrap it up then. And hope we'll talk soon. And
you're super good. Super great questions. Like, wow. Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. You're way more professional than I am. It's just, for me, it's just a side thing and not like I'm not doing radio for 20 years. So.
Oh, but you know what? I do mistakes every time again. Like every time I'm live, I do shitty stuff with like Spotify mixed with the mic. I fucked up all the time. I don't care. It's like, like the fun is better than anything else. So.
That's a beautiful way to end this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the perfect and like nothing to add.
Great.
Thank you, Emily. Have a nice evening and talk soon.
Great. Bye.
That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you'll find the show notes if you go to benedikthine.com/ and then the number of the episode you're listening to. So if you're listening to episode number 50, you go to benedikthine.com/50. That's always the way to find each show note page. If you want to listen to all the other episodes, if you want to go to the podcast episode archive, you go to benedikthine.com/podcast. There you'll find all the episodes, all the show notes pages. And if you are in a band and you need a mix, you want to talk about your art, you want to collaborate with an experienced professional to help you bring your project over the finish line, go to benedikthine.com and hit the quote request button or send me a message and I'll get back to you. And I can't wait to hear about your music, about your next project. I'm specializing in mixing rock, punk, hardcore, metal, all kinds of like hard guitar music, if you will. And I can guarantee that I can get the best out of your songs and I can make them the best they can be and help you make your vision a reality. Go to benedikthine.com and hit me up. Let's talk about your music. Until next time, bye.